fellow RotoBallers. Welcome back. It's another episode of the Checkdown Preseason Edition Sleeper and Bust Series. Today we're talking about running backs. My name is Joey Christopoulos with my co-host David Rispoli. David, football is back. We're talking about running backs today. How are you feeling? This is good to be back.
Joey, I love talking about running backs, something on the Checkdown we don't get to talk about too often, but I do have a little trepidation because they're going down like flies, man. I mean, at any point, we got to timestamp this because all three of these guys could roll their ankles tomorrow as we put this video out. But I'm really excited. And just so everyone out there knows, we're going to be talking about our sleepers, which for us means someone you're drafting in the 7th round or later that's going to return that value or better. And our bust is going to be in the top 5 rounds. Someone you're picking there who we think was probably going to finish outside the top 15 or even 20 at their position. Joey, let's start with sleeper at the running back position. Who you got?
Well, Dave, as you mentioned before, we only get a chance to talk about quarterbacks here on the Checkdown. So now that I finally get my opportunity to talk about a running back, I think it's time we talk about Latavius Murray.
Let's talk about him.
Let's get into it. So, here's the deal, right? We're looking at a lot of handcuffs. You mentioned a lot of injuries at the running back position, and we're trying to find someone that you can get in the last couple of rounds that, hey, not only can maybe fill in for you, but become a starter if the main guy goes down. This is why we like Latavius Murray a whole lot. What did he do last year? He had 8 games where he had at least 10 carries in a game. He averaged 9.7 a total per game as a backup last year, and 4.49 yards per carry. He's just a great handcuff to have. And as you mentioned, I think you're going to highlight it too as well, Dave. The Saints offense for the first time in 12, 15 years is going to look a lot different this year. We're not exactly sure, is it going to be just lean back and run and gun the whole time? I think we might see more of a run-heavy fit. Michael Thomas is out now and until forever. Who actually knows what's going to happen there? So as it stands right now, I think if you're looking at Saints offensive players, it might not be the quarterback. It might not be the wide receiver like years past. It might be looking at the running back position, and that's why I like Latavius Murray.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is 100% a thunder and lightning situation with him and Kamara. I mean, look, I don't know why everyone's talking about other handcuffs over Latavius Murray. People are talking about Kenyon Drake, James Conner, Devin Singletary, Jamal Williams, Marlon Mack. Get out of here. Disgusting. Going later than all of them is Latavius Murray. If Kamara goes down, he's an RB1, period. Listen, when Kamara went down last year, he averaged 31 touches and 153 yards for 2 touchdowns, Joey. That's RB1 numbers. That might be RB7 numbers. I mean, if Kamara goes down, I can't think of a more valuable handcuff right now than Latavius Murray, and he's basically free. You talked about it. Drew Brees is gone. Traquan Smith is hurt. They got some guy who's already got a DUI who's going to be suspended the first couple of weeks, Deontay Harris. Marquez Callaway, these are all names that are going to be on a milk carton next year, Joey. The Saints are going to run, and they're going to run some more. And the best part about Latavius Murray is he's quarterback proof. Whether it's Jameis, good for Latavius. If it's Taysom, good for Latavius. I think if it's Taysom Hill, this is going to be like a Tim Tebow situation. And, this is going to be like it benefits the running backs. It opens up different kind of running lanes when there's the run pass option for the quarterback. I just like Latavius Murray for where he's going. And like you said, he's only averaged 10 touches a game. I can see that number going up. Kamara has yet to finish a full season in the last couple of years. He is a smaller back. He does have a very brutal running style. He almost runs like he's built like Latavius Murray. And I think they're going to want to kind of, save him a little bit, really use him in the passing game. Or, Joey, I think we're going to see both of them on the field a lot more this season. So sign me up for Latavius Murray.
I think that's a great point too, as well. Is just that Kamara could still get the same workload, and Latavius Murray could also help out too as well. And keep in mind, fantasy fans, that when we're talking about this, these are the guys that you take with the last couple of picks in your draft when the kickers and defenses are flying around. The chances of those guys staying on your roster are usually pretty slim on a year-to-year basis. But Latavius Murray is a guy that not only you could take in that area, but also end up on your roster too as well. Real quick before we get to our bust, Dave, there's also a deep sleeper as well that is in a very interesting situation on a certain Texans team in a backfield right now. We kind of maybe like his value a lot too and could surprise a lot of people this year as well. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, this guy is free right now. This is absolutely a last round dart throw. It's Phillip Lindsay. and this may be more about the player than the situation, but
Mhm.
Philip Lindsay, Joey, just finds a way. He finds a way to get on the field with whatever team he's on. He finds a way. This is an undrafted rookie free agent who was signed to the Broncos and just found a way to get on there. He basically forced Melvin Gordon, who they paid a buttload of money to, into a timeshare. And it's just because he's good with the ball in his hands. He's a great pass catcher. Now, the negatives are the Texans, which should just be in bold in 36 font. Okay. It's the Texans. That's a huge negative. Yes. They signed every other running back under the sun, Mark Ingram, Rex Burkhead, but I'm just not buying it. And if Mark Ingram gets any playing time, it's going to be in the first and second down. Philip Lindsay could find himself as the third down back or the hurry up offense, AKA garbage yard back. And guess what? In Houston, they're going to be a lot of garbage yards and a lot of garbage times. So as a free running back that has a huge ceiling, yeah, sign me up. Why not?
Make sure you check out also our side therapeutic video we're coming out with called So You Got to Draft Some Texans, as we just sort of walk through the emotional rigmarole of it. And I agree with you. The guy just, from the moment he came into the league, continues to flash on the field. He runs super hard on a team that isn't very good. I think that can be a value there, and he might be the guy that kind of rises to the cream of the crop there. Dave, we got to go to our bust right now. You're going to lead us off on this one. This is a guy who, when he was drafted, high praise coming out of there. Last year, I believe he was in the top 10 category overall from the draft. He slid even further this year, and we still don't like his value. Who are we talking about, Dave?
It's got to be Josh Jacobs, Joey. This is a guy that you and I both drafted in the end of the first round last year.
Did we?
Yeah, we did, Joey. And that's why
no.
none of us have championship rings this year. Just
just eternal love rings.
Eternal love voting. But Joey, for me, it's Josh Jacobs because of many, many reasons. But the biggest one is the Raiders are speaking with their pocketbook, so to speak. Okay. $11 million to Kenyon Drake. They are going to use him. They better. If I'm the front office, I'm going, I better see Kenyon Drake there. The knock on Josh Jacobs before last year was always the pass catching role. We heard rumblings that was going to change. We're hearing rumblings that it's going to change again this year. Fool me once, Joey. This is a guy you got to pay a 4th round price tag on. He's right in that. The fantasy community is calling it the RB dead zone, which is like all around the guys that you just kind of want to move away to wide receivers. And I agree, honestly. I mean, Josh Jacobs to me is the poster child for the RB dead zone. If you're playing in a standard league, maybe I can see it because then it's just all about the touchdowns. But if you're in half PPR or PPR, you got to fade this dude. I mean, he could catch 30 balls or less or be a complete wash on third downs. Not to mention, he basically had all of his value last year out of touchdowns, and we know how fluky those are year to year. He's bound to regress. Joey, what say you?
I'm right there with you. His fantasy value was propped up by 12 touchdowns last year, and he's still sliding down the boards. I mean, health is a huge factor with him, and as you and Kenyon Drake, I mean, you don't have to read between the lines to see what John Gruden and the Raiders in general think about Josh Jacobs as a 3-down back. I would just be terrified of him as my RB2 personally. I mean, if you kind of look at the stats a little bit, last 6 games last year, he averaged only 60 rushing yards a game. 4 games during that stretch, he only averaged 3.4 yards per carry. So that's the second half of the season already maybe kind of falling out of favor a little bit trust-wise with the Raiders coaching staff. And now, look, he's a 4th round value right now. I just think that there's better options on the board personally. And for a guy who you're trying to figure out what is the upside, what is the bounce back, he also is a guy who struggled with health a lot in his first couple of years in the league. It's just kind of a bit of a struggle. I just want to find better options. I think there's younger options. I think there's dudes with higher ceilings out there. And Josh Jacobs maybe feels like a steal to people because they're like, oh, I remember him being so high last year. I should bite on that. I think we're telling you to be hesitant and resist that temptation.
Yeah, Joey, we talked about the Texans. Would you be surprised if the Raiders finished right around that zone? I mean, as one of the worst teams in the NFL this year, do we even know if Derek Carr is going to end up starting the whole year at any point? he's been known to throw a few picks and he could get benched for Mariota. They're talking about Mariota being goal line packages. So boom, there goes 2-3 touchdowns. It's like from the start, from when they selected Henry Ruggs, I knew this franchise is even more of a disaster with Gruden than without. I don't want any part of it.
It's also could be possibly, I'm just saying hypothetically, maybe Derek Carr's last year in Vegas, and you kind of have to ask yourself the question, are they really going to hitch their wagon to Josh Jacobs the entire year to get them to that successful season to maybe keep the band together moving forward? I have my doubts. You have your doubts. And that's going to do it. That's our sleepers. So we like Latavius Murray in those final last couple of rounds, and Philip Lindsay definitely probably in the dead last round that you could probably pick up. It might be a guy that might be on the roster early. Yeah. And for our bust this year, we just think Josh Jacobs' value is just a little bit too high right now, a little too overhyped. So we're saying maybe pump the brakes on that too as well. Dave, this was our running back series. How does it feel to get out of – we're not talking quarterbacks. How does it feel to have the ball in your hands running sideline to sideline? It feels pretty good, huh?
I feel like I'm about to roll my ankle.
I think we should keep it going. Guys, thank you so much for checking out The Check Down here, our preseason edition where we pick a sleeper and bust from every single position. This was the running backs. Make sure you check out our quarterback, wide receiver, and tight end edition too as well. Also, check out all the wonderful videos going on RotoBaller right now as we get you ready for your fantasy draft this season and a great 2021 NFL season. Comments, questions below. No matter when this video comes out, we will answer any question all the way up to week 1, so make sure you get your voice heard. We're happy to help as best we can. And Dave, what can I say? When you're RotoBall for one, you're RotoBall for all.
I think we should.
I'm still working on it. I'm
still
working on the call, the sign off. It's a work in progress. I'm working on it.